Hello, welcome back to my channel and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen. I'm a certified weight loss and nutrition coach, and today we're talking about the 7 unhealthiest convenient foods for lunch. These 7 foods should never enter your home, and we're gonna talk all about why. So if you're excited, give this video a big, huge thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed and your bell notification is turned on because I upload nutrition type content, debunking myths, talking about the good, the bad, the ugly when it comes to weight loss, 2 days a week, every Tuesday and Thursday. Check out the description box down below where I will link nutrition coaching. I offer personalized to you macros and calories and accountability and one-on-one coaching. Links, discounts to my favorite healthy things will also be down in the description box. So let me enlighten you with the 7 unhealthiest convenient choices for lunch. Listen, we're all about convenience. We are busy. Our lives are busy. Sometimes our lives are actually chaotic, and we need to have convenient foods on hand, especially for lunch. If you're someone that works outside the home, or maybe you work at home and you have very minimal time to squeeze in lunch and eat some food so that you can nourish your body, we will tend to reach for convenience foods. And today I want to share with you 7 convenience foods that are considered to be the unhealthiest and why. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some convenience foods that are healthy, that are much better alternatives, but these seven you should avoid. Some of these are frozen, some of these are refrigerated, and all of these are unhealthy, convenient options for meals. Number 1 are Hot Pockets. Any of the Hot Pockets are considered unhealthy, but the worst of the worst when it comes to Hot Pockets is the Philly cheesesteak. One of these Hot Pockets has 300 calories, and I don't know about you, but I can certainly eat more than 1 Hot Pocket. It's super high in calories, and it's extremely high in fat, and it's not a satisfying meal. Like I said, one of these may be satisfying for a child, but certainly not for an adult. There's 700 milligrams of sodium per Hot Pocket. So in the event that you eat 2, you have reached almost your maximum recommended sodium intake for the day just in lunch. And these may fill you up for a short time, but they're not going to give you sustained fullness and energy. And often foods like these Hot Pockets will lead to that afternoon slump. Number 2 are Lunchables. Again, Lunchables are something that is super convenient, but there's not a lot of bang for the calorie buck. You're not getting a lot of food. And again, Lunchables for adults are more geared as a snack than a meal replacement. Today, we're going to specifically talk about the nachos with cheese dip and salsa. You might be thinking, ooh, that sounds good, chips and cheese and salsa. Let's talk about why this isn't the healthiest option. This little Lunchable is 370 calories, and there's no way some nacho chips, cheese, and salsa is going to keep you full and sustained more than about an hour past lunch. And is this even a meal? Where's the protein, the vegetables, the fruit? There's only 7 grams of protein in this entire meal, which is definitely not enough even for a snack, more or less, for lunch. There's also 870 milligrams of sodium, over half of what you should eat for an entire day. And last but not least, there's 20 grams of fat. 20 grams of fat in some chips and cheese. It's just not a healthy choice. There's not enough protein. There's 0 fruits, 0 vegetables, and there's 0 of anything in there that's going to keep you full and satisfied. Number 3 is a frozen meal, and this comes from Marie Callender's, and this is the spaghetti with meat sauce. Now, at first glance, you might be thinking, hey, this is a pretty good meal. We've got a carbohydrate, we have some vegetables-ish with the tomato sauce, we have meat in there for protein, but let's talk about why this isn't a good choice. Number 1, it has nearly 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 3/4 of your daily intake. It has 350 calories, which isn't terrible for a lunch, but there's only 3 grams of protein. And like I said, at first glance, you might be thinking, hey, this has meat sauce, it's going to have protein, but this has less protein than nacho, cheese, salsa, and chips in a Lunchable. So it's not the best option for a lunch. You're better off making homemade spaghetti at home, warming it up in the workplace. It's almost as simple as this frozen meal, and you can control the ingredients, and you can make sure that it delivers a big punch of protein for you. And just keep in mind that the sodium in this Marie Callender spaghetti and meatballs is the same as eating 85 Snyder's pretzel rods. 8-5. Number 4 is another frozen meal. I don't know about you, but when I think of convenient meals, whether it be dinner or lunch, the first thing I think about is frozen meals because That's the epitome of being convenient. Number 4 comes from Banquet, and this is a mega bowl, dynamite, penne, and meatballs. So similar to the Marie calendars, you're thinking, okay, we have a carb, we have tomato sauce, we have meatballs. It's got to have a little bit more protein than, say, the Lunchable. And it does. It actually has 27 grams of protein. So if you're going to pick a frozen meal, this would be a better option than the Marie calendars. But it also packs half your daily intake of saturated fat, 1/2, and more than half of your daily recommended intake of sodium. There's 1,300 milligrams of sodium in this meal. That's almost your full day's worth of sodium, and it's almost 600 calories. Now, this isn't unreasonable for lunch, but for 600 calories, you should get something that's more nutritious, that's a higher volume of food, and that's going to keep you fuller for longer. Not to mention less in fat and less in sodium. Now this one might seem a little bit more obvious, and these are Uncrustables from Smucker's. Specifically, we're going to talk about the chocolate hazelnut one, which is kind of like Nutella in a sandwich form. I mean, it sounds really good. Each one of these little Uncrustables is 210 calories. And similar to the Hot Pockets, I definitely can eat more than one Uncrustable sandwich. Kids eat one Uncrustable sandwich. There's only 4 grams of protein, and it packs 10 grams of sugar. So if you compare the ratio, you have almost 3 times the amount of sugar than you do protein, which is not a very balanced macro profile. Use these as snacks, if anything, rather than a substitution for lunch. Now, if you decide to have an Uncrustable for lunch, make sure that you're pairing it with something that's going to give you a little bit more volume. Maybe you have something else that has protein in, or maybe you have a piece of fruit or some vegetables. This is just not enough for an adult for lunch. Number 6, we're going back to another frozen meal, and this one is from Stouffers. And this is their bowl, their fried chicken and mashed potato bowl, which is kind of a dupe for the KFC bowls. I will give it props for offering 20 grams of protein, which is much better than some of the other lunch options we've discussed. But it also has 1,260 milligrams of sodium, again, almost your daily intake in one pretty small frozen meal. This is an under 500 calorie meal, so the fact that it has that much protein in it is pretty concerning. Now, I will say that this frozen variety is a healthier option than the KFC famous bowl that has 710 calories, 31 grams of fat, and almost 2,500 milligrams of sodium. So kind of double everything that's in this frozen meal. This isn't the healthiest option. Like I said, there are a lot of healthier options out there for convenience foods, whether they're frozen or refrigerated. This one, just with all the calories, sodium, and fat, just doesn't top the list. Number 7 comes from the Bagel Bites brand. We remember the little teeny bagels with all the good toppings as a kid. Well, they have a lot of varieties out there for convenience foods, especially for lunch. And one of them, and the one that's on this list, are the bagel dogs. A serving is 4 of these. 4 little tiny bagel dogs, and it's 200 calories. That's 50 calories per bagel dog. That's this big. That's a lot of calories. That's a lot of calorie buck for what you're getting. There's also over 500 milligrams of sodium in 4 of them. Again, I would eat more than 4. 4 little tiny bagel dogs is not going to fill me up. It's not going to sustain me for more than an hour. So I would need at least 2 servings in order to have enough food for lunch. There's 7 grams of protein in the serving, which isn't terrible. And like I said, if you did double it up, you'd get about 14 grams of protein. Talking about these unhealthy lunch options, it doesn't mean that you can't eat them. Just pair them with something that gives you some nutritional value. So if you decide to have these little bagel dogs, make sure that you're pairing them with a fruit, a vegetable, or some other type of protein. Maybe you have a Greek yogurt or you have a cheese stick with these to get in a little bit more bang for your calorie buck and something that's going to sustain you longer than about an hour. That's the big issue with all 7 of these foods, is there's just not enough food for the calories, the sodium, the fat to keep you full for very long, which leads to overeating throughout the rest of the day. Just make sure that when you're choosing a frozen meal, a refrigerated meal, or a convenience meal, that you make a healthy option. And if you decide to indulge in any of the 7 that I shared with you today, make sure that you're pairing them with something else. A protein, a healthy carb, something with fiber, so that it keeps you fuller for longer. That's really the takeaway. The bottom line of today's video is none of these foods are off limits. These are the unhealthiest options, but you can still have them. Just make sure that they're paired with something healthy that gives you some volume of food and something that will keep you full for longer. So let me know down in the comments, are any of these your go-tos, or any of these your favorite convenience foods? No shame in your game. Like I said, you can still have them, just pair them with something that gives you some volume. volume. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video and you found it helpful, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not, because I upload every Tuesday and Thursday, and I share lots and lots of great nutrition advice for you. And of course, check out the description box down below for nutrition coaching, as well as links and discounts to my favorite healthy things. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.